Are you sure they're on different channels?
Yeah,
That's funny. Well, then
fix it in post.
we'll fix it in post. All right, team. I guess we'll just start driving, huh? But well, you can.
Got any Smooth McGroove?
No, what is that? Okay. Hopefully I don't get in an accident as we pull out of here, because that'd be funny. Be self-incriminating.
I mean, obviously it wouldn't be your fault.
I'll wave goodbye to the nice man that's presumably didn't give us a ticket.
So kind. He watches over the chickens.
He does. Oh, wow, they're like scratching and eating. Hopefully not each other. Okay, so today we're in the 2025 Mustang Convertible, spec'd in the 2.4 liter turbocharged option.
Yeah, 2.3 liter.
2.3, forgive me. Oh. And yeah, so it's very comfortable. We've got the heated and cooled seats. I found that they blow strongly, so like you feel like you're getting your value. You're not confused whether they're on or not, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, like, let's see, specs for this thing are not impressive. And personally, I think that is kind of refreshing in that this Mustang knows exactly what it wants to be. Like, you know, we're just driving it around and commuting between coffee stands, and personally I find it just so sufficient. You know, like it would honestly be difficult to imagine this thing with 500 horsepower or whatever they make it in. Like, it already weighs 3,700 pounds, so like it's not small, but you know, the packaging is small. I think that's pretty impressive. Like, even as a 6'3" king, I personally feel like I'm not. You can say it out loud. The microphone is on you.
Yeah, I was saying he's not 6'3".
Okay.
Just for the record.
As a 6'3" king, I don't feel cramped in the way that I feel like I would be in a Miata. And so, which brings me to my next point, is that, you know, this car, it has a turbo, it has, you know, fun noises, and it'll get up and go when you ask it to. But, you know, it's not meant to burn tires. It's not meant to, like, get you in a position that, you know, maybe you can't handle. Which brings me to my second point. Leave the traction control on. Like, oh, it only has 300 horsepower. How much damage could it do? Or, you know, how bad a situation could I get in? And the answer is probably more than you might consider. As someone that regularly drives a car with, you know, 170 to the limit, like, this thing has a lot of character, being a turbocharged car, that I think is not intuitive for many of us that, you know, put pedal down, go fast.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the guy who's peeling out in the supermarket parking lots here.
It's the boost, man. It's the boost. How do I?
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not.
I didn't mean to invalidate you.
I think you did. Oh, look at the yacht. It's Bezos's baby yacht that he uses his commuter yacht.
Use that yacht to get to the bigger yacht.
Right. The other one's not allowed within, you know, 10 miles of land. Anyways.
My reflection has been that there's really only two kinds of vehicles when you come to the island, and you have to, like, pick which camp you're in. You either get the Mustang and you make fun car noises, or you get the big lifted trucks and look like a resident.
Don't forget the custom offset wheels.
Sure.
With the tires stretched over them, making more road noise than the Jeeps. Yeah, I think this is such a competent package. Like, I think, you know, the convertible top, admittedly, you know, me being fair-skinned, is not used perhaps as much as others, but, you know, for the extra 200 or 300 pounds, like, I think it's well worth it. Like, this trim in particular seems to be thoughtful. Like, we have all the amenities of, like, CarPlay, AirPlay. It has very, very, like, I want to say intentional steering. Like every degree you turn, you can feel the car respond to it, which is pretty impressive for how soft the suspension is. Like we were trying to commute up north on some windy roads, and I couldn't feel the car take a set. Like I didn't know when it had kind of maxed out its grip. And I think part of that is due to the traction control trying to keep me in balance and away from any amount of slip angle. So, you know, if you're okay with that vagueness, it's pretty good. As a passenger, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, it's been pretty smooth for me, much smoother than some of our other driving experiences together. And if you aren't slipping enough, like you hold the safety button down and safety turns off, and there you are. Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think I know myself too well. I mean, even as he was saying, like accelerating out of the parking lot, one doesn't expect the boost, and I think that's also a little bit of the other side of the coin. Is like the boost is fun when it hits, but it's also a little disappointing because, like, you know, being the 4-cylinder, I don't know what the specs are for the turbo on here, but it definitely has lag. It's not one of those smaller turbos that's basically always spooled, and so that can be a little disappointing when you like, oh, I want to pass someone, and you like put your foot down, and then it kind of gets going. I mean, coming from like a naturally aspirated car with 6.2 liters, you know, maybe it's not a fair comparison. But.
Yeah, and you talked about how hard it is to like drive smoothly on purpose when you're not used to the turbo and you can't quite guess what it's going to do.
Yeah, I wish, as silly as it is, I really enjoyed the BRZ/Toyota 86 interface where it shows you the torque curve. And I think that would be I think every manufacturer should do that. Just because, you know, if you don't drive the dang car every day for a year and you don't have that mental model of, okay, what is the RPM that I need to be in to like start engaging the boost, I think it could be pretty cool. Which, you know, on the topic of smoothness, something I've noticed with the brake system on here is that, you know, we've got 2 pistons up front on one side of each caliper, and they are more than enough for braking. Like, at no point did I think, oh shit, I can't stop. However, maybe it's just like the size of the brake master cylinder. It's so difficult to be smooth. It feels like the brakes just bite, and I think maybe the tube isn't long enough such that the amount of input I give can be like titrated.
Yeah, you've gotten a lot smoother at it over the week, but certainly when we first got this car, you would tap the brake pedals and we would just go full halt.
I mean, even then it feels like it, like even now, like I brush the pedal, you know, like I put my foot within the presence of the pedal and it kind of like drags a little.
You mentioned when we picked it up that you thought the brakes were spongy. Do you still have that assessment?
It doesn't feel like air in the lines. Oh wait, you're right. I did like hold my foot to the floor. Let's see with the vacuum on what it does. If I can like push it past. Yeah, they're still spongy. Yeah, there might be air in the lines. Or that's just modern braking that I'm not familiar with. Maybe there's like some, at least in the race car, right? You like push all the way down and it gets firm. That's it. There's nothing left. When I push all the way down here, there's, I don't know, like an inch or a half inch of like, you can really kind of keep pushing. Maybe that's breaking it. I don't know. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, dear readers, he's, for context, used to the best technologies from 1989 soldered together with some from 1991.
Yep. That's what we do out there in Pro 3. Like and subscribe to Pro 3, please. We need the attention. If your sponsor is willing to give us free tires.
Don't look too desperate. We're trying to be demure.
We're trying to be demure, right. So yeah, here we are. I mean, I'm sure the ocean is in view of the camera right now. I think another subtlety of this car is that, you know, you don't really need a lot of power because there's always traffic. And so, like, if you live in a city where you're commuting, like, you can have fun. Or, we were talking about it the other day. You can have fun at 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, and you feel connected. It doesn't seem like one of those ultra high performance vehicles where, you get up to 90 miles an hour and you can't even tell. And I think that brings the joy factor pretty high because you don't have to be speeding to feel like you're having a good time.
And this comes up in talking about Pro 3 too. Everybody wants to know how fast you go in the straightaways. Nobody asks how fast you do those 90-degree turns.
That's true. Oh, we've done a few of them, and the car is chirping. The traction controls like, please, please stop.
That was me, actually.
Oh, you're doing the chirping? I see. It's a little steep in price. They want $40,000 for this, which is kind of wacky, right? I mean, is that what it was spec'd at?
The cost?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Which, I mean, 40,000. Maybe that's just the way things go these days. But, what, 5, 8 years ago, you could buy a base model Mustang similar to what we're sitting in. Like, they don't sell you. There is no smaller engine. Like, this is it with, some options. The seats, I imagine the dash is probably an extra option. The convertible top, but that, I would expect 35.
Yeah, so it says that the starting point is 32. That includes, the turbo or whatever.
Okay, so maybe I just read the wrong thing.
And you can get up to 62 on trim and options.
Well, of course. I mean, you can buy a $300,000 Mustang these days.
Summary also says the latest Mustang blends legendary performance with cutting-edge technology and jaw-dropping design.
I'm glad that they gave you that.
Please sponsor us.
Please fly us out we could be automotive reviewers. I don't like the digital gauges, but, even in modern cars, if there's a gauge, it is digital, right? It's just, it mechanically moves, but it's digitally powered. And so, like, as long as they give you customization, I'm pretty okay with that. Like, I was flipping through all the different modes, and I think that is almost the renaissance of modern displays. Because, like, in the Ford 350 I don't love the gauges. Like, I don't know what one of the temps are. They're all, I'm going to say, hard-coded digital gauges, right? And it would be neat, like, as we were showing on the screen, we had boost, we had the traction circle, right? Like, or the acceleration circle, indicators that we could change out, and we weren't subject to whatever committee Ford, put together to assemble focus groups and determine that they wanted the navigation circle to blink, right? Maybe that's too bit of a deep lore joke, but...
And just, how many busted analog clusters have you seen where it's not something you can fix? You have to buy a new cluster from a company that's out of business.
Oh, yeah.
Where this is presumably like an Android tablet or something.
Well, it is the same problem, right? If, for whatever reason, this gets bricked, you can't just go pick up a Android, Froyo tablet and, like, put it in there. Record. Okay, back at it. Trying not to hit people as we exit here.
Or chickens.
Chickens, people, who can say? What do you think what are the natural causes of death for chickens? Do you think they starve, or do you think they, like...
Camrys.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the visibility?
No, the visibility is really great, actually. Like, I feel like I'm in a glass dome, especially, convertible option, right? But, like, there's a little window in the back where I can just kind of, like, see everything. Yeah, I gotta look at that. We keep bottoming out. Anyways, okay. Grayson, what don't you like about this car? Well, okay. So, I'm gonna put it back in normal mode, which presumably, like, maybe it does something to the exhaust. It's not clear. But the thing that bothers me about it is that being an automatic car, like tries to optimize for fuel economy, and it stays most of its life at like 1,000 to 1,500 RPM. And whatever exhaust is on here just does not sound good. It's like it like vibrates the car. And I don't know if they did that on purpose, but like, you know, just a little bit of gas and like you can feel it, right?
Yeah, I feel like maybe.
Like just a little bit of gas and the whole car just kind of vibrates because it's like the natural resonance. And I don't know if it's the motor or if it's like just the shape of the exhaust or like the size of the resonator, but like whatever it is, the car spends all the time in there under load while cruising, and it's just perturbing. I don't like it.
Okay, but like as a counterpoint, you're only hearing it from inside the car. What's important is how you sound to people outside the car, how it presents.
I mean, I guess, yeah, hey, get out. Here, I'll unlock the door.
Yeah,
all right.
Let's tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll. We got a stoplight. You got your mic on, just take a walk.
Yeah, I might beat you to the next stoplight in Kihei.
It's true. So like, okay, that's complaint number 1. Complaint number 2. This thing has so many modes where it's like sport mode, track mode, drag strip mode. Great, love it, cool. You know, they're doing tuning, I like the granularity, but there's no way to tell it what gear to be in. Like, the shifter doesn't move. It's in drive or low, whatever that means. There's no paddle shifters. There's no way to indicate, hey, I want you to hold on to this gear. And so what ends up happening is it just like tries to hold on to gears all the time. And like, that's cool and all, but like, that's half the problem. Half the problem is holding on to the gear. The other half is like purposely downshifting to get into the like 4,000 RPM range or something like that. And you would think with like a properly, or not properly, but like with a turbo that has variable vanes, which is most, you know, they would be able to make it downshift, not overspool the turbo, and like accidentally make too much power or something, right? And so like, I wish they had paddle shifters just so I could like communicate with the car just a little bit more.
What if we add some paddle shifters that don't actually do anything? Those like the second player controller.
Maybe then I would like feel like I'm being heard by the car. I guess, oh yeah, one of the other nifty things is like the AC has like a dial sort of system. I don't like that they put the volume knob on the other side of the car. Like, I realize that the buttons are here, but like the volume knob needs to be on the left. I'm sure some other reviewer said something like that.
Reflecting on some of the like Finnish stuff we experienced, we've had a few problems with the music sync on the CarPlay.
It's not perfect, that's true, and then
It's unclear if that was user error or what, but like it was, we tech people maybe didn't quite, it wasn't obvious to me what the problem was.
It might have been also the car started in a garage, you know, like we're not even allowed to park the car ourselves, so, you know, maybe it was a connectivity issue. Although it did happen when we started the car one time, personally, so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the lane assist and adaptive cruise control?
There is none. There's a system on here that says lane assist. It doesn't exist. Like, you turn it on and it doesn't beep at you. It doesn't try to correct the car. Well, okay, it does try to correct the car, but not a noticeable amount. Like Toyota, at least in their Tacoma, you know, you like go off track and the lane assist will actually like reorient the car in the lane. And it's impressive. It's annoying, but like it's impressive, right? If you would like that feature, it exists. This one, you know, you turn it on, turn it off, it doesn't matter. It's not aggressive enough. Maybe there's a setting we're missing, and maybe it like got dialed down. We did get this car set to Celsius and liters. No.
Kilometers per liter?
No. It was set to liters per kilometer.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a kilometers per liter as well. So like deranged settings as a default. Said the imperialist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, those are the only gripes. It has the automatic headlights that automatically do bright, the high beams, I guess.
I didn't get to do my bit, which is that they do the liters per kilometer in Australia because all the units are upside down there because of the Coriolis effect.
Thanks for that.
All right, sorry, continue. Headlights.
You call me the imperialist. Yeah, like the headlights don't try to blind your fellow drivers. Like it's very sensitive, and I very much appreciate that. Tesla could figure that. Tesla could take a note. Not trying to blind everybody that hasn't succumbed to the Tesla empire. What else?
You didn't really talk about the adaptive cruise control. I feel like that's something that's missing in the modern car.
There is none. Yeah, there's just cruise control, and it wasn't clear at first if that was us using it wrong or not. But it just doesn't exist. The car would try to rear end something if I didn't press the brake. And okay, you can really hear it now. The vibrations, like going uphill, just trying to do like a moderate speed. And maybe it's like trying to sound like a V8, you know? Maybe they're wanting it to sound earthy or like deep.
Yeah, I mean, Vin Diesel really ruined everything.
Why?
It's a Fast and the Furious joke. Have you even seen those movies?
Well, okay, which ones? The good ones or the new ones?
Fast 5 or later.
Fast 5 was not good.
Okay, but you saw Fast 5.
I did see Fast 5, where they like hooked the charger onto the rope. What with this? Yeah, and then the safe thing.
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift. What a movie. Now we're a movie review chat. It's everything. We review fish. We review mochi. We review dogs.
Oh, yeah, tune in for the turtle video later.
The turtle video. Yeah, truly. I'm trying to think of like anything else I didn't like about the car. And it's really just those two things of like, I want the car to feel like I want the paddle shifting. That's it. And then I want them to figure out whatever they're using to tune the exhaust note, or like where if it spent all of its life above 1500 and just sounded better, I'd be okay with that, right? Maybe they have to run it at like maximum efficiency even with the motor vibrating itself to death in order to get the 27 miles per gallon we were getting earlier. But I think that really just kind of like detracts from the experience when you feel like you're like when you're driving a manual car and you like don't shift it correctly, like with the RPM match correctly, and it feels like it's out of the power band and upset with you. Like that's how this car feels all the time. Oh wow, it's just yeah.
Something else I wanted to call out is like, all right, we talked about how Grayson's 6'3", but when he takes off the stilts, he fits in his Corvette. And when I try to ride in the Corvette, it's sort of a cramped experience.
It is. No, this thing is comfortable. It has the faux seats, which means you get better car insurance, and it fits.
Yeah, like my legs fit.
6'2" Chads.
I can wear a hat. That's cool.
You can wear it. Well, okay, yeah, I guess it is touching the ceiling, huh? Well, that's our time for today. Thanks for checking in, and yeah, 2025 Mustang Convertible 4-cylinder turbo. It's a good car. Good work, Ford. Thanks.